If you lost $1,000, you could earn it back. But if you waste 1 hour, it's gone forever. What is more valuable to the investor, money or time? Most people enter the markets afraid of losing money, yet they spend their days without noticing how much time slips away. Beginners freeze in hesitation, intermediates scatter their focus, and even advanced investors struggle with discipline. The truth, time is the only currency you can never replenish. Today, we'll see how Stoic wisdom and investing principles unite in one lesson: treat your hours as capital. The greatest paradox of our age is that we guard our money with obsession, but we let our time slip through our fingers as if it were worthless. Think about it. If someone stole $10 from your wallet, you would be outraged. You would demand justice. Yet every day, hours are stolen by distractions, fear, hesitation, and we barely notice. The investor understands compound interest when it comes to money. But have you ever thought about the compound interest of wasted time? Every hour lost is not just an hour, it is the skills you didn't build, the ideas you didn't develop, the opportunities you never saw. Time has a snowball effect, just like capital. Imagine two young investors. One spends 1 extra hour each day studying markets, reflecting on mistakes, building discipline. The other spends that same hour scrolling, worrying, or delaying decisions. After 1 year, the difference is visible. After 10 years, it is a canyon. And this is the cruel truth. The market eventually forgives those who lose money but learn. Time never forgives those who waste it. Fear is often the invisible thief. Fear of making the wrong trade, fear of missing out, fear of failing in front of others. Fear paralyzes the beginner and distracts the experienced. But hesitation is worse than any market crash, because a crash can be recovered from. Hesitation can only grow into regret. Procrastination is the silent tax we pay daily, and unlike inflation, there is no central bank to control it. It eats away at our future quietly, unnoticed, until one day we look back and realize the portfolio of our life has been devalued. This is why treating time as capital is not optional. It is the first and most important principle of both investing and living. The Stoics were not investors in the stock market, but they understood the deeper market we all participate in, the market of life, where the only currency is time. Seneca wrote almost 2,000 years ago, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." These words sound modern because the problem never changed. Distraction is timeless. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and one of the busiest men in history, still found moments each day to remind himself of mortality, of control, of discipline. If even he felt the need to guard his time, what excuse do we have? The Stoics believed in a sharp division between what is in our control and what is not. Wealth, fame, reputation, even health, all uncertain. But our judgments, our actions, and how we spend each hour, these are fully ours. When fear keeps you from investing, when hesitation stops you from acting, you are giving control to things outside yourself. The Stoic response is simple. Act on what you can, release what you cannot. Serenity for the Stoic is not passive, it is active clarity. It is the discipline of choosing where to spend your finite energy, just as an investor allocates capital only to assets that bring return. Think of Epictetus, born a slave, who had no possessions, no freedom, no status. Yet he insisted he was free because his mind and his choices belonged to him alone. You may not control the market, the economy, or politics, but you control what you do with your day. Imagine your daily routine as your own small empire. The emails, the meetings, the conversations, the hours of distraction, this is where the battle for your future is fought. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. Harsh words, perhaps, but they sharpen the mind. They remind us that hesitation is not just a bad habit. It is a denial of life itself. To waste time is to deny our own mortality. And here lies the connection between Stoicism and investing. Both require patience, clarity, and courage. The Stoic does not cling to what he cannot control. The wise investor does not panic at every fluctuation. Both understand that mastery of the self is mastery of the outcome. Principles are powerful, but unless they touch our daily actions, they remain philosophy on paper. So how do we apply this? How do we treat our time as if it were capital? The first step is awareness. Just as an investor begins by tracking income and expenses, you must start by tracking where your hours go. Do you know how much of your day is invested and how much is simply spent? Most people believe they don't have enough time, but in truth, they have not disciplined their time. They have not measured it. You cannot improve what you do not measure. Imagine if you treated your hours the way you treat your money. You would not spend 5 hours on gossip or aimless scrolling if you saw it written down in your time budget. You would cut that expense immediately. Begin with a simple practice. For 1 week, note every hour: work, study, rest, distraction. At the end, calculate your return. Did those hours bring you closer to your goals, or did they vanish without trace? You will be shocked at the leaks in your portfolio of time, small losses that compound into decades. But awareness creates power, the power to redirect. The second step is intentional allocation. An investor diversifies across assets. You too must diversify your time. Some hours go to building wealth, others to relationships, others to health, and crucially, some to stillness and reflection. The Stoics did not preach endless work. They valued rest, but meaningful rest, not mindless distraction. Time in nature, time journaling, time in silence. These are not wasted hours. They are deposits in your inner treasury. The third step is cutting losses early. In the markets, a wise investor does not hold on to a failing stock out of pride or fear. In life, you must do the same with habits, commitments, even relationships that drain your time without return. Courage is not only taking action, it is also letting go. And the final step, compound deliberately. Replace just 1 wasted hour a day with reading, learning, creating, or strengthening your body. In 1 year, that's 365 hours. In 10 years, that's 3,650 hours, the equivalent of several university degrees or a new business or mastery in a skill. This is the compound interest of life. Small choices, relentlessly repeated, create an unshakable future. Sometimes the best way to understand an idea is to see it lived out in the real world. And perhaps no investor embodies the fusion of time discipline and stoic clarity better than Warren Buffett. When people think of Buffett, they imagine stock picks, clever deals, and decades of compounding. But the deeper truth, the one most miss, is that Buffett's greatest investment is not money, it is time. He once said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Imagine that. The man with more opportunities than anyone on earth, the man whose phone could ring every minute with billion-dollar deals, chooses to protect silence on his calendar. In fact, when asked what his daily schedule looks like, Buffett admitted he often spends long stretches of his day reading, thinking, or simply doing nothing. To the average person, this looks like laziness. To the wise, it is mastery. Why? Because he understands that the mind needs space. Time is not something to be crammed with tasks. It is an environment where ideas either grow or suffocate. Buffett gives his mind the air to breathe. This is precisely the Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius, despite commanding an empire, carved out moments each day to write his private meditations. Epictetus reminded his students that life is nothing but the use of our hours. Seneca urged his readers to reclaim wasted time as their greatest treasure. There is also the cautionary tale. History is full of brilliant traders, entrepreneurs, and leaders who guarded money but squandered time. They lived busy lives, filled with endless motion, but arrived at the end bankrupt in spirit. No wealth can buy back an hour once it is gone. So the story of Buffett and the lesson of the Stoics converge in one truth. Guard your time with more ferocity than your money, for time is the seed, money only the fruit. But what does all this mean for you? Why should you care about guarding time beyond productivity hacks or career success? Because time is freedom, and freedom is the real dividend of life.